Yes, the Rebel Yell podcast here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Some people feel we are number one, but we appreciate you joining us. We're getting ready for week three. Week three, back in the day, back in the old days, week three was always the big week. That was conference openers for just about everybody. And those were the games that would decide who eventually makes it into the WPIAL playoff field. It changed, I don't know, I think it was even before, probably around the time that we expanded from 4 classes to 6 classes, where there were teams playing conference games right out of the chute, right in week one. But we've now, at least in this 2-year cycle, have gotten back to week 3 conference games, not for everybody, but for a majority of the WPIAL football teams. But now in this new, WPIAL football steering committee decides all the wild cards, just about every game matters. So while conference games are still huge, you can't take non-conference games lightly, because they could be the deciding factor by the committee who is selecting which teams will make it into the playoff field as wildcard teams. Just 2 cents there. As far as non-conference, which conferences have done well in non-conference through really 3 weeks, if you throw in week 0. 6A, they have taken it on the chin the last few years. A lot of head-to-head matchups with teams from 5A. 6A teams heading into 6A openers this weekend are 12-9. That's not bad. It's much better than it has been really over the last 2 years. Breaking it down conference by conference, in 5A, the Allegheny 6, still sensational, 12-6 through 3 weeks. The Big East Conference, not so much, 7-14, and the Northeast Conference, percentage-wise, probably better. Well, they're both 500. 6-12, 7-14, 6-12. You figure out what's more impressive, but they are a distant second and third behind the Allegheny 6 Conference overall records of the collective teams in Class 5A. 4A, Big 6 Conference, strong, 11-6 through 3 weeks. Both the Greater Allegheny Conference and the Parkway Conference, which has a tremendous reputation and a well-earned reputation. Parkway Conference is 7-9 in non-conference. The GAC, 7-11. They're going to the nearest convenience store with their record collectively over the first 3 weeks. That's 4A. 3A, Allegheny 7, 9-12. Western Hills Conference, 12-9. Much better. But one of the top conferences overall, the Interstate Conference, 13-5 by the 6 teams in the Interstate Conference. 2A, the Allegheny Conference, is a combined 11-9. Century Conference, 7-14. Midwestern Athletic Conference, also under 500, but not as bad, 11-12 in Class 2A. And finally, the 4 conferences in Class A, the conference with the best overall record, the Black Hills, 12-8. 2 other conferences, though, in Class A are also combined over 500. So Class A doing well in non-conference games, either against other Class A teams or against 2A teams. The Eastern Conference is 12-10. The Tri-County South is 12-11. Bad news for the Big 7 Conference, usually, again, historically a strong conference. They are a combined 8-13 heading into conference openers this week. All right, let's run down the schedule for this weekend, which begins on Thursday and continues through Saturday night. I mentioned 6A opening up with 3 contests. The biggest one is at Hello Newman Stadium. North Allegheny 3-0 against Hempfield 3-0. It's the Bobby Bizzuto Bowl. The longtime outstanding athletic director at North Allegheny, who calls Hempfield his home. Both the Spartans and Tigers are 3-0 heading into this 6A showdown. I think we'll learn a lot about this Hempfield squad on Friday night. Central Catholic is 2-1. Vikings begin 6A play on the road at Mount Lebanon. Another rough start for the Blue Devils against a hellacious schedule. They are 0-3. Norwin is 2-1. They head north to Harmony to take on the 1-2 Seneca Valley Raiders in the 6A opener. The 1-6A team that's going to have to wait to open up conference play is Cannon McMillan. They won for the first time last week. They are hosting Armstrong, the Riverhawks, also with a 1-2 record in that non-conference matchup. 5A, the Northeast Conference and the Big East Conference getting underway. Allegheny 6 will have to wait 2 more weeks. In the Northeast, Pine Richland visits North Hills. The Indians have been competitive, but have yet to win. Same situation for Shaler. They're 0-3. All 3 losses close. All 3 losses at home. They're home again as they welcome in 2-1 Plum. And Fox Chapel is 2-1. The Foxes visit Penn Hills. The Indians, surprisingly, still looking for their first win of the year. Big East Conference openers Friday. Good one at the Wolverina. 1-2 Woodland Hills taking on 3-0 Penn Trafford. Warriors haven't dominated anybody, but they just keep picking up win after win after win. A challenge in Turtle Creek on Friday. Kiski area visits Gateway. Gators still looking for their first win of the year, as is Franklin Regional. The Panthers, 0-3, visit the 1-2 Latrobe Wildcats. 5A versus 4A non-conference. Peters Township looking to go to 4-0 visits Trinity. Upper St. Clair looking to go to 4-0 is home to Hampton. Bethel Park at 2-1 visits West Mifflin. Chartiers Valley also 2-1. The Colts at Baldwin. Highlanders trying to end that long losing streak. And it will be West Hills rivals battling when the Moon Tigers take on the West Allegheny Indians. The Tigers 2-1 and the Indians 1-1. 5A versus 3A non-conference. It's 3-0 Elizabeth Forward visiting 2-1 South Fayette. 4A non-conference. All of 4A will wait to begin conference play. Aliquippa at Mars, the Fighting Planets 3-0. The Quips coming off a rare regular season loss. They are 1-1. McKeesport has dropped 2 straight, banged up as well as they visit 1-1 Bell Vernon. Laurel Highlands is at winless Indiana, and Knock visits winless, or Montour visits winless Knock. 4A versus 3A non-conference. Good one here. Number 1 versus number 1. 3A number 1 Avonworth, fresh off that victory over Aliquippa last week, hosting 4A Thomas Jefferson, fresh off a grinding win in which they scored, 12 of their 16 points? 13 of their 16 points in the final minute of play. TJ and Avonworth, both 3-0, meeting at Lesnar Field in Avonworth. Ringgold looking to go to 3-1. They visit Greensburg-Salem. Golden Lions tried to do the same thing. Southmoreland 3-0. Scotties, our team of the week last week, they are in Darlington to take on 1-2 Blackhawk. Battle of 2-1 teams. York is at Newcastle, and Ambridge looking for their first win visits Mount Pleasant. The Vikings are 1-2. All right, 3A conference games, conference openers for both the Western Hills Conference and the Allegheny 7. North Catholic off to a 3-0 start, scoring a lot of points as well. They are at Quaker Valley. The Quakers losing for the first time last week to Freeport. Hopewell undefeated at 3-0 at Tony Dorsett Stadium. They look to remain undefeated as they host the Beaver Bobcats, who come in with a record of 1-2. Battle of 0-3 teams. Central Valley hosts McGuffey. Allegheny 7 conference openers. Mentioned Freeport. They're undefeated, 3-0. They are hosting Deer Lakes. Valley is at Imani Christian. In Wilkinsburg, the Saints also are 3-0. And Highlands visits East Allegheny in an Allegheny 7 conference opener. 3A non-conference. Derry 2-1 visits Burrell, coming off their first win of the year last week. And 2A non-conference, a battle of 1 and 2 teams. Carlinton, the long trek to Apollo to take on Apollo Ridge. 2A Midwestern Conference openers. On Thursday, Riverside is at Union. Scott is still looking for their first win. Panthers hope to even their record at 2-2. New Brighton is at Freedom. The Lions, a perfect 3-0 thus far. So is Western Beaver. The Golden Beavers visit Beaver Falls, and Elwood City is at Mohawk. Wolverines and Warriors are both 1-2. Century Conference openers. Washington is at Waynesburg Central. Both those teams come in with overall records of 2-1. Charleroi takes on Seton LaSalle at Dormont Stadium, and Keystone Oaks on the road at Stowe Rocks. Both the Golden Eagles and Vikings are 0-3. Allegheny Conference, South Park 3-0, defending 2A champs, will be tested on Friday. They take on Steel Valley at Campbell Field and Munhall. The Ironmen have dropped 2 of their 3 games this year. Undefeated South Allegheny takes on Our Lady of the Sacred Heart. That game is at Moon High School. And Shadyside Academy, enough healthy bodies, we assume, they are home to winless Ligonier Valley. All right, let's go to Class A now. Black Hills Conference openers. Defending district champion Fort Cherry at 3-0. Visit Chartiers Houston. The Buccaneers off to a good start at 2-1. Monessen is 3-0. They are on the road at winless Sarah Catholic. And Burgettstown travels to Cornell. Big 7 conference openers. Neshannock at Rochester. Lancers are 2-1. Rams looking for their first win of the season. Shenango hosting winless Northgate on Saturday afternoon in beautiful Herman, PA. Summit Academy looking for their first win. Won't be easy. They host Southside. The Rams are 2-1. All right, Eastern Conference openers. Good one in Greensburg. Greensburg Central Catholic hosting Clairton. Bears 1-1. Centurions are 2-1. Pair of 2-1 teams meet in Perryopolis as Fraser welcomes Jeanette. Springdale is at Brentwood, and then a good one Saturday, 2-1 Leechburg at 2-1 Riverview. High noon kickoff. Tri-County South openers. 3-0 Jefferson Morgan visits Mapletown. 3-0 Avella is home to West Green. Bentworth is at California, both the Bearcats and the Trojans 2-1 coming into that game. Carmichael's visits Beth Center. Non-conference, a good one to close out the week. Saturday night, Dormont Stadium, 1-2 Bishop Canavan hosting 3-0 Laurel. City League non-conference Thursday, Brashear against Carrick. On Friday, Perry takes on Westinghouse, the Bulldogs, a perfect 3-0 in the season. And the independent schedule for Friday, Albert Gallatin looking to go to 4-0. Colonials are home to the Huskies of Northern Garrett out of Maryland. Another school from down south, Spring Mills, West Virginia. Cardinals hosting Connellsville. The Falcons are 1-2. Battle of 2-1 teams on Friday afternoon at Couple Stadium. Alderdice hosts Uniontown. And a battle of 3-0 teams. Butler takes on District 6 Hollidaysburg at Butler High School. Brownsville at 0-3. University Prep from the City League at 1-2 do not play this week. They have an open week on their calendar. So there you have it. By the way, with Carmichael's losing last week, the owner of the longest current win streak in the WPIAL is the Hempfield Spartans. It'll be tough to make it 5 in a row, but they come into week 3 having won 4 consecutive games. All right, our feature games, a bevy of games. Go check out our website, tribhssn.triblive.com, and see the menu, as we like to call it, of games on Friday night. In-house, our feature games are Cannon McMillan will be home to Armstrong. Our AHN game of the week, Penn Trafford at Woodland Hills. Edgar Snyder and Associates game of the week, Aliquippa at Mars, good one there. Moon Honda game of the week, Moon visits West Allegheny. And our RG remodeling game of the week, Steel Valley hosting South Park. So lots of good games to choose from as we get into conference play and week 3 of the WPIAL football season. Hey, thanks to Chris Lackner. He helped spread the news of this podcast on social media. We thank him for producing said podcast. I'm Don Rebel, and as always, we thank you for checking us out, whether it be on Fridays for the games, Friday nights for the scoreboard show, or during the week for our various podcasts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Rebel Yell Podcast, Trib Live High School Sports Network.